Here's a conundrum for you. Let's imagine that you want to book a holiday abroad somewhere. Would you A, decide which country you want to go to, have a look at the different hotels in that country that fit within your price range, narrow it down to a handful of hotels, and then go online and look at some reviews on the likes of TripAdvisor to get an idea as to which hotel you think is going to be best? Or would you B, go and ask a bunch of random strangers to just decide everything for you? Pick not only where you're going to go, but when you're going to go there and how much it's going to cost. Yeah, I'm thinking option A as well. So why then do people insist on asking random strangers to decide what their next camera lens is going to be? Now, by this, I don't mean people who are asking advice between maybe one or two particular lenses. That's perfectly normal. You might have decided, for example, that you would like a fast 85 prime as your next lens, and you've narrowed it down to, say, the Sony 85 1.8 and the Samyang 85 1.4, and you're trying to decide which one's going to be the best. So you go and ask people, have you used this lens? Have you used both of these lenses? How have you found them? What issues have you come across? However, I'm seeing so many people just asking the question, what's the next lens that I should buy? People saying, oh, I've bought a new camera body and I've only got the kit lens. What is the next lens that I should be getting for it? How the piss in hell should I know, Brian? I've no idea what you're wanting to do with it. Now, I don't actually know what's worse. One, the fact that there are people asking this question, or B, that there's people actually giving answers to this question. I shit you not, on these posts where people are going, what should be the next lens that I buy? Or, I want a good lens for portrait, what should I get? There's actually people who will just randomly pick lenses with no clue as to what budget the people are dealing with, or more importantly, what style of shooting that they are doing. The problem is that when you think about it, terms like portrait or landscape are really quite broad styles. They can be anything from really tight headshots to full-length body shots incorporating quite a bit of the scene as well. And you can shoot them on a variety of different focal lengths. And the problem with letting people dictate the focal length that you're shooting with is you're not developing your own style, which is kind of what you're supposed to do. There is a simple, harsh truth that when you first start in photography, you're shit at it. It's the same for everyone. It's no different than if you were to take up piano lessons. The first time you get hold of a piano, you're not going to be able to play Mozart, are you? You're going to have to learn the basics, learn the different keys, and then once you've got those building blocks in place and you become more comfortable and fluid with everything, then you start to develop your own style. Or you'll listen to what other people are doing, and some traits and styles you might like and might catch on to, and other ones you might dislike and you'll avoid. Photography is no different. Photography is so subjective depending on the individual. That's why everyone has their own little styles and their own way of doing things. And what appeals to you might not appeal to somebody else, and vice versa. So when you start out in photography, you get a basic kit and you learn the basics of how all the different aspects work, and then you get a bit more comfortable with it. You start to learn about composition and lighting and editing, and you build it up until you're really comfortable with it. And while you're doing that, you're looking at work that other people are doing, and you'll see certain photographers' styles that really appeal to you, and you'll start to work their kind of style into your own work. But you'll look at other photographers' styles and not be particularly fussed by it. You're not going to go and copy them. And then gradually all of those start to blend together and make your own personal style. Now, if you're considering wanting to shoot portrait, you have an interest in portraiture. Now, for all you know, it could be that your own personal style might have developed that you take absolutely killer portrait using a 35mm focal length because your particular style just really suits that focal length. But now, because you asked the question, what lens should you buy for portrait, Ian on some forum somewhere has gone and told you that you should buy an 85 or a 135mm or a 70-200, and you've pretty much then kind of channeled yourself into you've got to use a telephoto lens for portrait shooting. If you're considering buying a new lens, what you shouldn't be doing is asking random strangers the question, what lens should I be buying? What you should be doing is asking the question, What about my current lens setup am I not satisfied with? And you should be asking yourself. It doesn't matter whether you've got a dozen lenses or just the one kit lens. The principle remains exactly the same. If you are considering buying a new lens, it's because there's something about your current lens or lenses that aren't fulfilling your needs. And you need to isolate what those shortcomings are. If it's the kit lens, is it that it doesn't go wide enough on the wide end, or it's not long enough on the long end? Is it that the aperture is too restrictive? Or is it a combination of them, that you're after something that's wider and faster? And if you're thinking to yourself, well, the focal range of my current lens is fine, there's no issues there, and the apertures are fine, I'm generally shooting stop down, but my images just never look as good as I want them to, then the odds are it's got nothing to do with your lens, and it's either how you're composing the image, or how you're lighting the image, or how you're editing, in which case a new lens isn't going to change it anyway. Now, don't get me wrong, I appreciate that not everyone knows the entire back catalogue of every single lens that's ever been made. And it might be that you've worked out that you want something that is, say, around about 16mm in focal length and around about an f2.8 aperture, and you're after people's suggestions as to possible lenses to consider. That kind of works. Because that's still you dictating what focal length you're going to be shooting with, so you know the kind of style of picture that you're going to be going for. But for the love of God, please do not go onto random forums and ask complete strangers you've never met to just pick your next lens. Because you might as well start asking them, where are you going to go on holiday? What car should you buy next? Or even, I'm going to sell my house, where should I move to? So that's it for this video, guys. As always, if you have any questions or queries, the comment box is down below. There is also the subscribe button if you haven't hit that one already, and there is a link to my Patreon account if you'd like to go and support the channel through there. But thank you so much for stopping by, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.